Blizzard is acting weird about Classic Plus. It got real fast. That's right. So Classic Plus, we've been talking about it. I mean, it's just around the corner. I know a lot of things about Classic Plus. Not too long ago, Blizzard invited a bunch of streamers out to Anaheim. Yeah, I was there, one of them for sure, and it was a good time. We had a good time at Blizzard HQ, and we got to review a bunch. I can't say why we were there, but I also can, I don't have to deny the allegations. Yeah, it was a good time. Let's just say that. Me and Ass-Fan specifically got real cuddly in the picture for shits and giggles. But yeah, it was a good time for sure. A lot of stuff going on with Classic Plus, and I'm not saying that's why we were there, but also not saying that's why we were there. Can't talk about it. Everyone signed an NDA. So we got a lot of shit to get into here with Classic Plus. Let's see what's going on and why Blizzard's acting weird. Definitely, I would say, an announcement coming at BlizzCon. Let's get into this one.
We have so much to talk about in today's WoW news, but first, ladies and gentlemen, something is afoot. I say that because a combination of data mining, creator teasing, and one very pointed Blizzard fakeout has got people excited again. And there's a lot to talk about. So, let's get into the news. After Holly's fake-out announcement at the State of Warcraft, we thought it would be Classic Plus in September, which felt like a bit of a long time to wait. And maybe Blizzard agreed, because a stack of creators went...
I missed this picture. Yeah, I wasn't in this one.
...for a trip back to the Orc statue in Irvine.
I was taking a shit.
Ass-Fan has been posting about the Dark Portal never opening, and basically every Classic creator has been gearing up to something. Now, naturally, that's kicked off the usual round of Reddit leaks, fake leaks, maybe real leaks, and people pinning little bits of string to the wall trying to work it all out. So, rather than get lost in whatever somebody's uncle apparently heard from a friend, let's just talk about what's actually there and what's actually concrete. So, back when patch 12.05 hit the PTR, data miners found a bunch of odd things. Skyborn housing decor. There's a wind well, wind chimes, a banner, curtains, a pillow. They're light blue, they're wind-themed, they're very elven-looking items, and they've got file names such as 12ph shop Skyborn. So, on its own, that's not really proof of much. It could just be a shop bundle, a trading post thing.
Yeah, it sounds like a shop item. This color is weird too. What is this color in relation to? This sky blue? I mean, I don't know any faction or group that uses sky blue as their color. What the hell is this?
Much. It could just be a shop bundle, a trading post thing. It could be an ordinary bit of housing decor with a name that just sounds more important than it is, and that kind of thing can happen.
Here.
But what happened afterwards was more weird, because mentions of the Skyborn items actually vanished. They vanished from Wowhead and MMO Champion. Public pages or posts that had referenced them became unavailable or just disappeared from normal view. Then, the related model and texture files appeared to have been encrypted. Now, that is not normal behavior.
That is weird.
That's what we call a cover-up. Because data mined items...
The Angels and Shadowlands? Maybe you talk about the Kirin or whatever the hell their name was. Yeah, I don't know. It's got like an elven style to it too. I'm trying to think, maybe the High Elves, but even them, I don't think they use sky blue as their color.
Appearing is
Kirin,
completely normal. Data mined items getting attention is normal, but then them becoming unavailable and encrypted is just a lot more interesting.
Yeah, that's
But it's not just the file name, because there's also the file ID placement. The Skyborn Windwell appears right beside the expansion.
Charbs coming in with a sub. That's what you did it again.
I did it again.
Yeah, you're 1 month away from 2 years, man. Thank you so much for that. 23 months. Jesus. Thank you, Charbs.
Pre-order style decor wells that we got with Midnight. Some of the texture paths actually seem to predate Midnight, while the actual decor showed up in 12.05. There's a bunch of little clues. So, the cautious take on all of this is Blizzard have the Skyborn housing assets. They were shop tagged, they sat near pre-order style reward assets. People noticed
this doesn't look like, I agree, the Kyrian kind of did have a light blue tinge. They were mainly, I feel like, gold and stone looking. But definitely, their faces were blue, so you could say that. But this has like a whimsical elven style to it, and the way it's stitched, it just looks, I don't know, this is weird. I really can't attach this to any specific faction or group right now in the game.
And then they just got hidden away.
It almost looks like a tidal wave or something.
Confusion. Now, to be clear, none of this confirms Classic Plus, Skyborn Elves, Playable High Elves, Alliance Shamans, Northeron, or any of that really spicy stuff. Though I would not be surprised if a bunch of that does end up being real. Now, to be clear, this is still us on a big evidence corkboard trying to work out what's going on with all of these clues.
Right.
What I will say is it does make the theory a lot less silly. And that's because these pieces line up in a way that truly makes sense. So let me explain. The idea people keep coming back to is Northuron, a region where we get high elves, dwarves, griffins, wind-themed stuff, and maybe some Alliance shaman flavor if Blizzard wanted to go in that direction. Now, any one of those little things is a little thin. A data-mined griffin doesn't mean that we're going to declare skyborn elves are really a thing.
Right.
But if you put enough of these things beside each other, I think you can see why people are leaning into it, because it all does sit in the same, roughly speaking, fantastical space, the same theme. And then that all brings us back to Classic Plus. So, Mists of Pandaria Classic still has a bit of runway, so this is unlikely to be some sort of normal, Warlords of Draenor Classic beat. These assets and all the talk. I mean,
right.
The Dark Portal not opening is why people think Blizzard are preparing to almost fork the timeline, right? What if Azeroth continued?
Yeah, unlike Season of Discovery, it sounds like Classic Plus is going to be a completely altered timeline. Season of Discovery, if you remember, the way Blizzard described it is we are kind of refinding stories or finding stories that were existing in our current timeline, but we never really delved into them, didn't really discover them during our first play through the game. So it was like a Season of Discovery, right? Rediscovering or discovering new shit that had happened in the past. And it was supposed to be kind of a concurrent timeline. That was a part of our current, plays in the game. This sounds like it's going to be a complete divergence. Portal never opens. We never really advance beyond like Azerothian life. And that's where shit sits. Which I think would be the right way to do it. Classic Plus. Classic Plus shouldn't be, going on to Classic Burning Crusade and Classic Wrath. It should just be the world of Azeroth and storylines that are advanced through the world of Azeroth, and that's it.
Just more time before the Burning Crusade happened, and that during that time, we could just explore post-Warcraft 3 Azeroth a hell of a lot more. Now, if Classic Plus is about that, about staying in Azeroth and exploring different old world ideas...
Now, just to be clear, I am not a Classic Andy. No, I do not play the Classic versions of the game. I did play Vanilla WoW when it was Vanilla WoW, but I don't play these rehashes of the game. Classic Plus sounds interesting. I'm still going to, mostly play retail, I would say. But I can't ignore the news on it. It's definitely going to be a huge thing.
Marching through the same old expansion treadmill, then Northuron and Old Faction Fantasy fit that pitch, honestly, pretty damn neatly, pretty perfectly. So I think a fair read of this is this. Some of this stuff is circumstantial. Some of it is community cope or community hope. Some of it, a lot of it actually, is genuinely odd, especially those shop-tagged Skyborn assets becoming unavailable and encrypted while classic creators were going back to Blizzard to do some sort of creator summit. Now, Classic Plus is not confirmed. I'd say at this stage, though, it is all but confirmed.
The Creator Summit was fun, I gotta say. We had a good time. Blizzard treated us real well. And the things they showed us were exciting. They were exciting. Now, what's going on with the elf shit? I can't, maybe I know, maybe I don't, but I can't really say.
Blizzard have been as clear as they can be without pretty much just giving the whole game
No,
away.
but I'll be honest, I have no idea what the elf shit is. This was before I stepped into the picture. Obviously, here I am about a minute later, moving in. But yeah, I was the one setting up kind of the angle of the camera and shit.
One hand, the creator stuff could be Blizzard soliciting feedback, having a chat, and it could be BlizzCon, where we actually see the thing get announced.
Yeah, and here I was at the
it is
buffet, so I
looking
missed
like
this picture too.
It could be shown off, perhaps even sooner than BlizzCon. That may seem like
waste to this realm.
Ruhr, thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to our skirt.
Totally insane thing, but thinking about BlizzCon, there's going to be quite a few things that Blizzard will need to announce there. There's even some talk about, say, that new StarCraft open world game, right? So with all that in mind, maybe they want to space things out a bit. Now, there is one extra wrinkle to this, though. Because if Skyborn is real, then the question is also how Blizzard would sell it to people. And the read here is that these assets are shop tagged, they're sitting near pre-order style rewards, and may be decrypted soon. Now, that doesn't tell us what the product is, but I think it does tell us the overall shape Blizzard will be thinking of. because this is where player housing actually changes up the mats a bit. If players care about wells, banners, rugs, pillows, themed bundles, just stuff for their house, then Blizzard has a lot more things to hand out and a lot more things to sell.
Right.
And that's why the Skyborn tag matters, I would say. Because if this ends up being normal shop decor, that's fine. If it's tied to a Classic Plus pre-order thing or deluxe style bonus, then the first proper Classic Plus beat may arrive with a price tag attached. Maybe it'll be a pre-order. Maybe the news of BlizzCon will be that it'll finally go live. Hard to say.
I wonder how they would do a Classic Plus like launch. Would they make it a pay-to-play kind of thing? I mean, you obviously have the sub, that's required, of course. But like an expansion? Like something that you buy? I mean, technically it's an expansion, right? On the classic version of the game. So I wonder if they're going to flat out like make people pay, or are they going to go with kind of the anniversary style where they bundle a bunch of shit together and they're like, hey, if you're excited about Classic Plus, buy the Classic Plus launch package where you get a bunch of decor items and retail WoW and a fucking mount and shit. That could be what they end up doing.
Exactly, and none of us...
They're definitely going to try to make money off of it. I mean, of course. I think Classic Plus it's a big undertaking. This is not a relaunch of an old classic version. They're making new content, so they're going to want to make money off of it, obviously.
Predict the future, but
they literally make money off the relaunch shit.
I'm fairly certain that there will be Classic Plus news soon. But oddly enough, that's not the only Classic Warcraft news, because in a seemingly random act of grace, Blizzard finally undid some of the damage that they inflicted in Warcraft 3 6 years ago. And yes, it really has been that long. You can now play Warcraft 3 through Battle.net properly via Warcraft 3 Legacy. You see, before, if you wanted the old version of the game, you'd have to use a separate installer. So, in theory, this is exactly the sort of thing that people have been asking for. Basically, easy access to the original Warcraft 3 with none of the reforged gumph. You'll be able to do LAN and offline play, old maps and campaigns. Basically, less friction for people who never really wanted reforged in the first place. This is good. More things like this, please, Blizzard. Fantastic. But there's a bit of a problem, and that's that Blizzard somehow found a way to make this easy win a little bit weird. You see, Warcraft 3 Legacy is on patch 1.29 rather than patch 1.31, so it's missing some of the final pre-reforged changes that were made to the game. And of course, it also doesn't support online play, which is disappointing, but at least it is a little understandable. You can see Blizzard not wanting to run like another live branch of a game.
I should play through this one day, because there's so many story beats in Warcraft 3 and all that that play major roles in WoW. It's a good story replay if people want to play it.
But the worst bit is that at launch,
OG WoW stories.
Playing Warcraft 3 wasn't really in the supported list of features for this version of Warcraft 3. It's very silly, but what happened is they shipped it with the wrong folder structure.
Oh, God.
So the maps and the cinematics were there across a load of languages, but they were just in the wrong place. And that meant that trying to play anything could just boot you right back to the main menu. The install was also twice as large as it needed to be because of all of the redundant language data. Now, the good news is the community found the issue quickly. Forum posters were talking about diagnoses and workarounds, and Blizzard's official fix did actually come. It just took 9 days. 9 days to fix a folder problem that players had effectively identified for them. Cool. No real harm done in the end, of course, and I do want to be fair. Getting original Warcraft 3 back into the launcher is a really good thing. It should have been an easy win. I think it's just a bit mad, a bit crazy that even this somehow launched in a broken, barely explained way and then took longer than it really should have to be fixed. And I guess that's the annoying part. Even a nice gesture of goodwill just, didn't really go right. That's a shame. So the idea was good. The follow-through has felt a little bit oddly hands-off. But let's think about things for a second. If Classic Plus is going to be a big thing, then maybe they want a version of the game that came out before Classic, Warcraft 3 in its original state, so people can play the campaigns just like, basically, the rest of us did when we were much younger. Okay, this is a lot of classic-y stuff, a lot of old stuff. Let's talk about live, because Blizzard are fixing some problems in the immediate. It took a while, but the fabled light touch balance stuff...
It's a great game, yeah, and it's got great stories in it. That's why I'd really want to play through it. It's the foundational lore for World of Warcraft. That's why I've always wanted to get in there. Like Konesia said, yeah, maybe in 20 years, right, when all my kids aren't babies anymore.
Is actually here, and true to Paul Cubitt's word, they are bringing
I'm so excited to get in and try my Blood DK right now.
Without knocking down Brewmaster. So, Blood DK, Vengeance DH, Prot Paladin, and Protection Warrior are all getting decently substantial durability buffs. Blood DK gets more stamina, more death strike healing, and stronger Dancing Rune weapon support. Vengeance gets better baseline damage reduction, armor, and stamina. Prot Warrior gets more damage reduction across the places where, well, they would tend to be a bit more squishy. And Prot Paladin, well, you guys are really getting a pretty big package of changes. Because goddamn, you really did need it. There's longer sentinel uptime, more stamina, stronger low health protection, and a fairly huge improvement to Ardent Defender. And that last bunch of changes really matters because Prot Paladins were feeling the pain majorly. I mean, goddamn, I raided with one for half of the first season before he ended up swapping over to Death Knight, because Prot was in just such a weak state. And if you've been tanking on Prot, this is exactly the sort of pain that you would have noticed.
I mean, I get it, Prot Paladin had trouble, but I'll be honest, tanking on anything except Brewmaster Monk was it was a shit show. It was crazy difficult. Somebody said they were having a heart attack watching me tank because of how my health just fluctuates everywhere. I play Blood DK. And yeah, you're flying around half the time, healing, not your health is dropping to fucking 2 and then shoot back up to 100. It was crazy. So this should help a bit.
So more duration for things and more damage reduction on your basic, please don't let me die buttons. That's, that's good. Blizzard clearly knows what the pain is. The changes are welcome, and if you're tanking keys on one of these specs, the rest of the season should feel more smooth. Now, there are still some pain points with healers, there's still work to be done, but there's also an obvious question hanging over all this stuff, which is why...
We have a realm to destroy.
Bluey, my kid's favorite show. Thank you for the follow. Welcome to our Scourge.
Why did it take this long? Because by now, a lot of players have already adapted. Some have rerolled, some have geared to the safer option. That happened in my guild. Some have just stopped volunteering to be the person who, by being a tank, gets blamed whenever the pull goes sideways. And really, this is where the tank stuff becomes bigger than just the numbers. Tanks know the route, control the pull, they eat the panic whenever something goes wrong. And if the tank role feels undertuned, people will just stop queuing. And that's obviously been something that people have felt with the tank shortage. And I think this is the bit that matters beyond just the patch notes. The sturdier tanks are, the more people will be willing to play them. The shakier tanks are, and the more people will just quietly stop queuing.
Yeah, I mean, it does take a special kind of person to tank. I'm not just saying that because I tank. You're going to get abused. You're going to get yelled at. There is an added level of responsibility when you're tanking, but certainly making tanking more difficult than it needs to be is not a good way to get people to try to tank. That's for sure. So nerfing the shit out of tanks, which they've basically done since, Dragonflight, basically just pushing tanks into the fucking ground, making them a lot less able to survive things, making them much more squishy, doing less damage. All those things, certainly made tanking less appealing to people who hadn't tanked before. Did you see the Nothing But Guardian Druids clear the 20 key? Yes, I did. That was basically the end of their Thrash buff. Yeah, Blizzard went around and nerfed their Thrash, I think, by like 25%. We were looking at it today. So, Druids were putting out crazy DPS numbers. Guardian Druids is who I'm talking about. So, that change went into effect. We'll see where they currently stand after that happened.
And basically, the more tanks that queue, the more Mythic Plus groups you're probably going to get. So every tank basically ends up enabling 4 other people to go and do a dungeon. Now, Blizzard already seemed to know that the role is under pressure, and that's because of Lindormi's Glow. It was added in 1205 as an option to it.
This is awesome. This was a thing that I kept saying, if Blizzard could give us tanking paths through Mythic Plus, you would get a lot more people trying tanking in Mythic Plus. Because that learning the path is the biggest barrier to entry for tanking. Because you're going to want to do Mythic Plus if you legitimately want to gear the fuck out in this game. And doing Mythic Plus as a tank, you have to carry the entire group. You're expected to know the path. You're expected to know every mob's abilities. You're expected to know which groups to pull, when to pull, which groups to group together, which ones to do separately. There's a lot. So, Lindormi's Glow, amazing. I was so happy with this thing.
Attempt to make routing easier. That definitely helps. But I just do not think the tank shortage is something that a small boost on its own will be able to fix. Tanks being sturdier is good. It gives them more room to think about their routing, threat, mob control, stops, positioning, and all of the other team captain things that they're already expected to do. And of course, it'll give healers a bit more room to handle group damage instead of just having to babysit the tank.
It does highlight the mobs, but it's not the best, of course. Yeah, but I mean, I did it the other day in, what was it? I think we were doing Algathar Academy, and we hit 100%. All I did was pull the glowing ones, pretty much. We just went around, and we got to 100%, didn't go overboard on anything. So while it might not be the most optimal path, we're not fucking MDI, okay? We're fine. We'll be fine, and we'll time the key, and that's all that matters.
Through every pull. So, better late than ever, these buffs should make the rest of the season smoother, and hopefully Blizzard takes a bigger lesson into the next season. If they want more tanks, the role has to feel less punishing to learn and less miserable to play whenever things go wrong. And absolutely, if major changes are needed for tuning, they need to make those changes earlier. Though, of course, that's not all that's going on with the game. 1207 is on the PTR, testing's going on. It does actually seem like a really cool patch, and we're going to have videos on really cool things in that patch, like some of the leveling changes and heroic world tier fairly soon. Beyond that, though, we're actually seeing the first little rumors and hints and, I guess, Blizzard server activity stuff suggesting that patch 12.1 is on its way to, at the very least, internal test servers at Blizzard. So whenever 1207 hits live, probably in like, 4, 5, 6 weeks, expect to either already have had the announcement for 12.1 or for it to absolutely be imminent. So, retail's moving, tanks are getting help, Warcraft 3 Legacy is easier to access, classic creators have went to the HQ, and all this Skyborn stuff seems really weird. There is a lot of Classic Plus smelling smoke, and I think that's because there is in fact a Classic Plus fire. I think we'll probably get some news quite soon. But there's one other big thing about the future of the game and where we could be headed, right? So we did this video about Ashara. It was like the last video that went up with the channel, and I think absolutely pivotal video that you should watch. After that, though, and after I read through some of the comments, for me, the penny dropped. That basically, what if Ashara is being kept for after the last Titan? What if we are seeing fragments of her gathering power, knowing that basically the Xalatath stuff, the Titan stuff, the Iridicron stuff, all that shit's gonna go, meaning the rest of us will be left weak, and she'll be ready for the future. So if you want to know what's going on there, you have to check out the Ashara video next, and it is literally the link that just replaced my face. So have a click, thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there.
Yeah, it's a great video. We watched that one. Definitely some Last Titan and post-Last Titan shit going on there. Overall with this, I mean, Classic Plus, whether you play Classic Plus or not, whether you were invited to Blizzard HQ or not, it's an important part of what WoW is going to be in the future. And certainly important to the health of the game in the future. So that's why I still talk about Classic Plus, even though I'm not a Classic Andy. I'm probably not going to be a big person who plays it. But I'm certainly excited to see what they do with it, see what kind of experiments they put into the game with it, and see if it can bring back, some of the glory days for a lot of people that do enjoy Classic. A nice video overall from Bellular.